But there's one other thing I should say to coalition politicians. Shut up. Shut up. All that public bitching and moaning and backstabbing. Look, I've got it. Some of you are really upset that Susan Lee didn't pick you yesterday in her shadow ministry, didn't recognise your genius, pick people you think are less worthy. In fact, in some cases, that's even true. But Michael McCormack, the former Nationals leader, taking it all so badly that he's today taking a whack at Nationals leader David Littleproud and talking today about replacing him.
Well, look, you never say never. If it comes to pass that the party decides that I'm the one to lead them again in the future, well, so be it.
Really, who's helping? Only Labor. And some of the other criticisms. Sarah Henderson, oh, Susan Lee dumped 3 women from the ministry, including me. Others saying, oh, that's sending voters a signal the Liberals are anti-women. I mean, really? Hello, the Liberal leader is herself a woman. Isn't that a great signal? And other criticisms. Susan Lee appointed inexperienced people. I'd call them fresh faces. Oh, she promoted some of her backers. Which leader doesn't? Besides, she also promoted people like James Patterson, who didn't back her. Well, this is complaining yesterday from Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price, on the very day that Lee actually appointed her the Shadow Minister for Defence Industries. Still ungrateful.
I'll be honest to say that there are probably some appointments that have not been predicated on experience or merit, but this is the team we have to work with, that we're working with going forward. And I mean, I'm not going to lie and say that I'm not disappointed that I'm not within Cabinet itself.
Look, I've been a huge fan of Jacinta for years. I mean, I have defended and promoted her long before other commentators, but she is seriously now getting ahead of herself. She deserted the Nationals this month, leaving them in the hole, to become a Liberal instead, and run for the Liberal deputy leadership, when she'd been in the party for almost literally 5 minutes, and in Parliament for just 3 years. Now, I know that Jacinta was absolutely magnificent campaign against The Voice, single-handedly got Australians to vote no. And she's a star in the party branches. Rightly so, she has a huge future. But it is also true she's got much to learn. She still must prove she's much more than a brave and articulate woman who can speak hard truths about Aboriginal issues, protected, let's be honest, by being Aboriginal herself. Now, Peter Dutton did give her that chance. He put her in charge of monitoring government efficiency. She didn't come up with a single saving of note, not one. And when she did speak in the election campaign, she put a foot in it.
We can make Australia great again.
Is that an ode to Donald Trump?
No, if I said that, I don't even realise I said that, but no.
So really, take a chill pill. Jacinta now has a portfolio involving defence. That will be perfect for giving her experience in talking beyond Aboriginal issues. And by the way, surrounding herself with weapons of war, that's going to make her look even more like a future leader. Tough woman. So just suck it up and say thank you. Now, I know I've burned bridges here with some coalition people, including Jacinta, unfortunately. But guys, your coalition is in such terrible strife that you need to be told. Your new leader deserves a chance. She's picked a new team, so for now, shut up and go for Labor, not your leader. Joining me is my regular Thursday commentator, Nationals MP Barnaby Joyce, the former Deputy Prime Minister, himself left out of the ministry. Barnaby, great to see you again. At least you're now free to say exactly what to say.
I don't know what. But I shouldn't say anything after that.
Well, say it now.
No,
you go right ahead and say what you like.
I've got nothing to say. I'm very sanguine. What's that? Sanguine dignor quam orum est. Is that right? Or well, that's the nominative, isn't it?
I don't know. I think you were going to say something and now you won't.
Sanguine dignio oro est is the ablative. Off you go.
Now, well, if only more people, more in the audience spoke Latin. I certainly don't. But at least, Barnaby, one benefit of you not being on the shadow ministry or the ministry before that is that you're finally free to exactly to say what you never could on my show. You'd hint, you'd wink, you'd nod. Net zero, cutting Australia's emissions to zero net by 2050.
You don't have to speak.
Well, tell us what you really think,
folks. Because it is mad. Look, I'll give you 4 reasons. First of all, we have the Chinese, the communist Chinese. Chinese people are great. Communist government not so great. Stooging around our nation off Sydney, off your coast. They did live fire exercise. That's practicing to attack. That's why you do live fire exercises off your coast. We have to make this nation as powerful as possible, as quickly as possible. We need to throw the rule book out the window. And we can't do that if we're hamstrung with this crazy idea that we're going to be net zero, which of course we'll never make. I'll give you another reason. It's absolutely decimating our economy. It's ridiculous. Talk to any pie shop, talk to any company, ask them what their energy bill is. It's through the roof. They can't afford it. Even in New South Wales now, we are going to have a 9.7% increase on the 1st of July. I'll repeat that, 9.7%. Approved by the government on the 1st of July, as if your power bill wasn't enough. We've also got the desecration of our landscape, I really mean this, environmental desecration of our landscape with wind towers, solar panels, swindle factories, capacity investment schemes, secret little agreements that we'll never know the details of for overseas companies and internal billionaires, so they become multi-billionaires. Powers holding 5-minute stacks where people get paid the highest price of the bid, not the lowest price, not the price they bid it in, the highest price. And most importantly, we have pensioners taken into destitution because they're the ultimate payer of this massive swindle. It is a swindle. And it works under the guise, under the guile of the snake of what you're going to say is, if you ever question them, you're abhorrent. You want the kiddies to instantaneously combust. It's guarded in guilt. And we suck this rubbish up. And we should be turning around saying, no to net zero. Just say no.
Yeah, but what do you say then? I mean, just played Zoe McKenzie saying the opposition should stick by net zero. Well, no, but she just said should stick by net zero because locals in her seat and seats like that target. Well, I'm one of her voters in her electorate. I think it's a disaster. What's your response to that argument, that stick to this terrible policy because it's popular and voters will turn against you if you drop it?
Well, we in New England have become the garbage can of your virtue. I mean, I like Zoe. Zoe is a mate. He's a really good mate. But let's take Zoe out of it and let's talk about other areas. The New England is not the garbage can of your virtue. We are not there to deal with the detritus of your wishes that you would never wish to be in your electorate. If you wish for wind towers with the microplastics and the bisphenol A, then put them up off your beaches. You certainly can do that. You actually can do that. Put the transmission lines across your suburbs. You certainly can do that. Live your virtue. Do not be a hypocrite. Live your virtue. Have these intermittent power precincts, these swindle factories that are guarded by government caveats, given a return even if they don't produce electricity. What a great scam. Oh, who thought of this? I wish I'd thought of this. I'd have cattle properties where you get a return even if you don't produce cattle. I mean, it's marvellous. I'd buy every cattle place in Australia. But they don't want it in their electorate. They want it in our electorate. And in the meantime, who pays the price? Cui bono? I'll give you another little piece of Latin there. So the point is, it's the pensioner. It's the poor person. It's the poor. We in politics are supposed to
Barnaby,
stand up
when you say
to
pensioner,
the powerful on behalf of the powerless.
You look up the figures.
But
you look up the figures of people who've actually died of hypothermia in this country in cold houses, and it seems in some cases because they couldn't afford to heat them. And I mean, this is literally true. I've seen studies on this. You've been at the top, Barnaby, Nationals leader. You've been Deputy Prime Minister. Now your leader has told you that you're now just the backbencher. How are you coping with that? Does that make you think, look, my days in politics are behind me now, maybe I should quit?
I've been there a few times before, as you probably are well aware. You do the best job you can wherever God gives you the fortune to place you. I've got two big tasks. Number one, I will look after the people of the New England and the Upper Hunter with all my heart, with all my soul, and with all my courage. I will continue to do that because I love that. My number one job. Number two, on a macro sense, I'm telling you right now, on behalf of our nation, having had that great honour of highest office, I'm going to fight against net zero because I'm saying to you viewers, don't rely on this building here to fix it up. If you don't get motivated, remember, we have a bit of a... If you want to get the other side of the equation, well, unfortunately, you've got the Labor Party, the Liberal Party, the Greens, and my own side, at the moment, the Nationals all believe in net zero. So where are you going to get the no argument from? How do you deal with this? How does an intelligent person hear the contrarian view and make an assessment on the facts presented to them? And I believe I, with others, have a role in doing that because I fervently don't agree with this. I think it's abhorrent. I think
certainly do.
It makes our nation weaker and we've got to fight against it.